Thank you very much. I'm honored to join you. I too am speaking to you from the unceded traditional territory of the Coast Salish people, the Squamish, the Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. And I'm very conscious of the fact that I am here as an uninvited guest on their land, and that they continue to make me feel welcome. I'm so honored to be here just to say a few words in remembrance of the people who lost their lives to a terrorist attack. I remember how I felt that day when I heard the news of what had happened in Christchurch on March 15th, 2019. I was horrified, I was angry, and I'll admit I felt ashamed. I felt ashamed as a white person that a terrorist thought that he could get away with such an awful act and in representing me and in my name. And in fact, that massacre motivated me to stand up and be counted. And to use every opportunity I could to distance myself from white terrorism, to speak up against white supremacy, to challenge racism, and to demonstrate solidarity with other races in word and deed. And in fact, one of the things during COVID that I've been very concerned about is the hatred against people of Asian descent. And I started wearing a mask during early in COVID, even when people around me were questioning. Not because I was convinced at that point that it would protect me from COVID, but I did it out of solidarity because people who were wearing masks were being subjected to race hatred. So I did that in solidarity. I'm also, I want to say a few words about some of the things that our government has initiated to combat racism. I'm very proud of the fact that we now have, for the first time, a parliamentary secretary, Rachna Singh, whose job it is to review anti-racism laws in other jurisdictions, launch consultation with the public, and develop a new anti-racism act. And she's very committed to this and working very hard to reach out and engage. I'm also very proud of the fact that we reinstated the the British Columbian Human Rights Commission, and that this is a commission that is responsible to proactively seek out evidence of systemic racism, to make recommendations to government, to give feedback to government, whether we want it or not. It is her job, and it's the job of the commission to be ever present and on top of racism and race hatred proactively. I'm very proud of the fact that we initiated Resilience BC, which has put funds and resources into communities around the province to help identify white supremacy, to help people cope and respond to white supremacy, to defend themselves from racism, but also to be more than a bystander when they see racism happening, how to intervene safely for themselves, but also safely for who is being the subject of race hatred. Let me close by saying that, you know, my parents, both of my parents, fought fascism in the Second World War. My mother was the first person in her small Ontario farming community to join the Canadian Army. Not the first woman in her small community to join the Canadian Army, but the first person to join the Canadian Army to go fight against fascism in the Second World War. And my father was part of the liberating force that went across Europe liberating occupied towns. And he, in turn, was one of the last people to come home after the Second World War, because he was part of the occupying force in Germany to reestablish and stabilize that country. So the reason I mention this is that my parents sacrificed their youth thinking that this kind of thing would never happen again. And what this has taught me is that we can't stop being vigilant. We cannot take it for granted that we need to continue being aware of race hatred. We need to be, people like myself need to continue checking ourselves in terms of the assumptions we're making and the commitment we're making to others. So I commit to you that I want to continue working to make sure that nobody has to live in fear because of the color of their skin or because of their religion. Thank you.